Creating multiple cards is a great way to get more out of your crafty time, but it's boring. Today I'm going to share how you can create multiples without the boredom. But you've never made multiples before, so where do you start? I like to choose a supply. Maybe it's something that I just love. Maybe it's something that I've had for a while and never got around to using. Or maybe it's something that I've already got and I want to just stretch it and try some different ideas with it. Then you need to gather the supplies you're going to need. This particular set of dies is a layering set of dies, so I need different coloured cardstocks, or I need to create my own cardstock with ink blending, or I can use design paper. So once you've kind of decided that, that will help you decide what you need to gather. You need to make a plan. So for me, I decided that I was going to be making 5 cards, but stick around because there might just be a bonus card as well today. And one of my best tips here for making multiples is to batch it out. So do like with like. So what I'm going to do here is actually do all of my die cutting first. And I want to make 15 flowers because I am making 5 cards, so I figured I might as well get them all done at once. And one of my top tips is to do multiple die cutting at once. And what I mean by that is use your whole die cutting plate. So you don't just have to run one die through at a time. I just did multiples all at once. I was just being very gentle, making sure not to overlap dies. I did hold them in place with some low-tack tape. So if you had chosen a product that was maybe a stamp set that you wanted to colour, it's at this point you would do all of your stamping and colouring according to the plan that you have for your cards. One tip that I can give you here is to limit your colour palette. This is going to make it so much easier. Not having to choose colours for each card design is so much simpler. And if you're not sure on colour palettes or you have trouble choosing colours, then you can always refer to another card that inspired you, a card that you've made yourself that you really like the combination of colours, or even head to Pinterest. You can find inspiration anywhere. So why would you want to make multiples? To be honest, it's a great use of your time, and we all know how precious that is. You've already gone to the effort of sitting down to craft. You've already chosen the products that you want to use and planned out a design in your mind of what you want to create. So why not make more than one? Creating multiples is a great way to build your stash. You might need men's cards, you might need some birthday cards or sympathy cards, and it's also a great way to stretch your supplies. I mean, you've bought it, so why not use it? You might also need cards. I know a lot of people that make cards for either markets or social groups, and I even like to create gift card sets as presents for my family and friends. So when it comes to sentiments, make sure you choose a set that has a variety of greetings that are going to be versatile for many situations. I'm limiting myself to just one stamp set for all of these card designs. That's going to make it a lot faster. And I'm also going to be doing all my stamping all at once. And the best thing is this stamp set has a coordinating set of dies. When I'm doing my stamping, I'm using a positioning tool so that I can restamp if I need to. I'm also making sure to lay my stamps onto the cardstock with enough area around them that I can add the coordinating dies. I'm stamping all of my images in black ink today. I like the boldness of the ink, but I also like that if it does misstamp, I can come in and fix any gaps with a black marker. But obviously you can use whatever colours you prefer for your sentiments. And being able to die cut the whole panel of sentiments all at once is such a time saver. And I've got a few extras for my stash. So now that I've batched out my sentiments, I'm going to plan out my cards. I've got 5 A2 card fronts here and all my flowers and leaves ready to go. And I have some basic sketches that I refer to time and again and I will link that freebie in the description below. If you want to download that, you're more than welcome to it if it would help you. Otherwise, just have a look at my basic designs here and you can copy them. You can make them as complex or as simple as you like. Obviously, clean and simple designs are going to come together a lot quicker. But what I've done here is just sort of divvy out the flowers and some of the sentiments and make a basic plan. And then I'll take a photo on my phone so that I roughly remember, because otherwise it all gets put to the side, I bump it and I can't remember. So I'm going to start with the most clean and simple card, and I literally am just adhering the flowers and the leaves and the sentiments with liquid glue, with foam dots, and just keeping it very simple. When you are doing very clean and simple designs, balance matters. So do take that little bit of extra time to make sure that the design looks like it's going to be balanced on the card. You can always add sequins or rhinestones or a second flower if you're finding the balance isn't right. Another way that you can add something special to your designs is to add something like a 3D embossed background like I've done here. You can also use a cover die and die cut a background, or even stamp one, or create a simple wash with some watercolor. There are so many options. Now I like to do the embossed images on some 80-pound Nina, so I do like to do that separately and then add it to the card front. I just use my Misty tool. I removed the foam mat and added the card base to the inside of the tool in the corner, and then I could just easily line up the front panel with the base. And look at your dies differently. You do not have to leave them as they are intended. I'm actually doing some surgery onto these dies to get myself some leaves for my design, but I am keeping those stems, and you'll see why very soon. I like dimension, but obviously if you want to keep postage to a minimum, you could adhere these directly to the actual card base, but I like to add dimension everywhere. And rather than make all my flowers the same colors, I actually did come in and make a couple of different versions of colors in the flowers here today. You know, we don't want to get bored. We got to change it up. So my next design is very clean and simple as well. I'm using one of the align tools here to add a panel of black cardstock to the front of my card, and then I just simply added one flower. I wanted to use one of the really huge ones from the set, and just one leaf here. It really doesn't get much simpler than that. And I think the bold background just really makes this flower pop. For my next design, I decided to make a bit of a floral garden. You may have noticed that I've used some of the stems from the previous cards and added some more leaves. I've added also a piece of black cardstock to the front of my A2 card, and I've got a nesting panel here, just something that's a little bit more decorative, but still keeping the main focus of my images in the center of the card. But I do like the way that it looks after I remove the edges of those leaves. It just looks like it's meant to be on there. And I did pop up one of the sentiments here as well as the panel on the front of the card. Everything got popped up. It's not for the faint-hearted. So this card design here went a little bit wrong. I got distracted. I have one of the thin leaves here, and I just wanted to show you that to add a bit of dimension, when it's such a thin die cut like this, I find it easiest to do with some liquid glue. And in total, I have 2 more die cuts behind that. I decided to stamp a sentiment directly on the front of this card onto some aqua sky, but then I started talking to my husband and he distracted me, and I did want this leaf on a bit of an angle, but it was on too much of an angle. And I didn't want to start again or waste this cardstock, and I had one flower to spare. So I decided to use one of the huge flowers here in the center of the card, and I did shout myself a little bonus here. I actually added a bird from a different stamp set and one more color of cardstock. I allowed myself the luxury of that, and that just, I think, rebalanced the image. It still doesn't look perfectly balanced, but I think the bird makes it so cute no one's going to notice. And as promised, I do have a bonus card for you today. I had a few flowers left over, and I thought it'd be lovely to make a little floral garden using one of the other sketches from my download, just to show you how this could work with these supplies. I pretty much just adhered all the leaves and everything to the base of the A2 panel, and then popped up most of the flowers. And if you want to know the exact products and supplies that I've used, they will be linked in the description below and also linked through at my blog. And I would have to say that even though this card wasn't planned, it actually turned out to be my favorite card of the day. One more thing that I did batch out and just thought I'd quickly include was adding the gems. These are opal. I think they're a little bit opaque, but still got a lot of sparkle in them, and I kept the same gems that I used throughout all of the designs. And you might notice when I'm choosing the placement for gems, I typically will add odd numbers, so either 3 or 5, although there is one card here that I didn't do that on. I wonder if you can guess which one that was. And I do them almost in a visual triangle. That kind of helps me for balance and placement, and also a good way to cover up any slight imbalances in your card designs. So here's all my cards together now. Don't forget that I do have a Same But Different series playlist at my channel. And if you know me, then you know I don't like to make the same card twice. That's why I've got my Same But Different playlist at YouTube, where I explore different ways to stretch your supplies. It might be a design idea, it could be a product that I'm using, or even a technique. I just like to see how far I can stretch a supply and hopefully inspire you to do the same. And I've linked the playlist here for you, and I look forward to seeing you there. If you did enjoy today's video, please click the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Happy paper crafting. Bye.